Good evening, Katlyn. Your hair looks amazing as always.
Thank you. I just got done working out and my hair dryer doesn't work here. So I was like, oh my God.
And everyone, we have number one UFC women's flyweight Katlyn Chookagian. We will start things off with Cote Cruz with Four to Win podcast.
Hello, Katlyn, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Hi, Katlyn, how you doing? Nice talking to you. I'm calling you from Santiago, Chile.
Awesome.
Hey, let's get to business. You're coming from a decision win against Antonia Shevchenko right after having a tough night fighting her sister. Could you comment about that unique opportunity of fighting both sisters and having disparate results? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about fighting both sisters?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it really mattered. A lot of people asked me, they're like, oh, do you feel like you got to revenge your loss? And I was like, absolutely not. They're two totally different fighters. Yeah, it was just the only positive thing. I think that the odd makers in the second fight made me an underdog. And I think that they got confused with the last name because my fight before was like the same last name. So they thought maybe it was the same fight or something. They kept me an underdog. So I think I made a lot of my friends some good money. So that was a good part. But other than that, it's just another fighter.
Hopefully they bought you dinner.
Yeah, of course.
Well, you're now in a top contender spot, but I read a few days ago that you're contemplating stepping down of the octagon and focus on family. I was wondering how those two concepts live with each other. For instance, you have the drive to compete, but at the same time, you have this wish to start a family. How do you manage to keep those two in line coming into this fight?
Yeah, I've been very honest with how I feel about what I see in my life in the future. And I think sometimes people take that out of context and say oh, she's over it. She wants to have kids. It's like, no, I'm just what I see in the future and what I want after fighting. And I think that that's a smart thing to look past it because there is a huge part of my life that is going to happen when the fighting chapter closes. So, I've said before, I'm taking it at this point, trying to get as many fights as I can. I'm getting older, so if I could fight every month, then that's perfect right now. And I said I'm taking one fight at a time, and I think people took that out of context and said that this is my last fight, and that's definitely not. But I'm saying taking it one fight at a time where I'm focused on this fight, and that's where my focus is. And then after that, when I have time off, then you address what's next in your life. So for anyone that thinks I'm halfway out or unmotivated, they clearly don't know me. If I wasn't motivated, I wouldn't be doing this. I definitely don't need to do this. So I'm doing this because I want to, and it's a huge passion of mine.
So it's safe to say that we have Katlyn for a while now. We still have some Katlyn left. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about the fight. How do you feel you fare up against Andrade? What do you feel are her weaknesses? How do you feel that you will prevail on Saturday?
I think I match up great with Andrade. I mean, it's the typical long rangey fighter against the aggressive shorter fighter. I mean, we've seen it many times before. I think for Andrade, she's had most of her difficult with either bigger fighters or long rangey strikers. And I'm bigger and taller and longer than any of her opponents. I think I'm 8 inches taller than her. I think that's something that people don't realize. And I think after we get to the face-offs, they'll realize how big of a difference 8 inches is. I mean, it's the same. We figured it out. It's the same as if I fought John Jones. So the same height difference. That being said, that's great for boxing and kickboxing. But once you are clinched up, it's a little bit, the height difference doesn't really play into a factor. But I've been a long rangey fighter my whole career. So, I mean, this isn't something I just prepared for this fight. This is something I always work on. So I think that her style plays well into my style.
That's great to hear, Katlyn. Best of luck on your fight. Hopefully we get to talk to you again soon. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks.
And next we have Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Katlyn, obviously you kind of cleared up the whole question about whether or not this is your last fight, but considering you do have a future with a family and starting a family, what is the biggest driving factor for you in your fight career? Is it just I love fighting? Is it getting back to the title shot? Is it just having these kind of great matchups like Jessica Andrade? What is the biggest driving factor for you in your fight career right now?
I think that my whole career, even before the UFC, my goal was to be a UFC champion. I got to the title, I fell short. So now it was kind of like a weird transition in my career. It's like, okay, now what? Like I've never just fought for money. I always fought for the title shot. And, I'm in a position where, I'm realistic. I know if Andrade gets the win, she's probably getting a title shot. If I get the win, I'm probably not getting a title shot just because there's plenty of other girls in the division. But, so with that being said, I just feel like I'm getting so much better in the gym. So it's motivating for me. If I felt like I was kind of plateauing and then I was just be fighting for money, that's still definitely a motivational factor. But yeah, I feel like I'm still getting better. So I'm still learning things and I'm still like eager to be able to do them in the on fight day. So I think that's kind of motivating me.
Is there a drive, to get back to that Shevchenko fight just because, you are still number one ranked in the division. And even if it takes you a few wins, I mean, you beat a Jessica Andrade and you obviously have a win over Lauren Murphy already at the bantamweight, but in terms of like, and Jennifer Maia for that matter as well, like, do you feel like, a couple wins puts you right back to where you want to be anyways?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I mean, I think I'm kind of like, maybe for the matchmakers, I'm kind of annoying in the division because, it's hard to promote another fight when I've just lost with Valentina. But like, if they put any other new contenders against me, I'm most likely going to beat them or I've already beaten them. So I think right now I'm just taking whatever fights they give me. I just want to stay active. I've said to, the matchmakers, I'll fight anyone. I've literally never said no to one fight, like never said no to a fight. I'll fight anyone. If there's short notices at bantamweight, I'll fight there. I just want to, now the pressure of the title is off, but it's still a goal. Like if, for me, if I keep winning, I'll get there, but I'm not, for once I can just fight and just focus on the actual, kind of have a little bit more fun, a little less pressure. And so just taking any fights. And then, obviously if you keep winning, then the title shot comes and that's great.
With that being said, considering you have fought Valentina and Jennifer, do you mind if I ask your pick in that fight? And do you give Jennifer a solid shot, or do you think, it's going to be a tall order for anybody to beat Valentina right now? And I assume that's the rematch you prefer to have, but I'll ask you who you believe is going to win.
Yeah, I definitely think Valentina is going to win. I don't see like any aspect where Jennifer Maia even can compete with Valentina.
And you mentioned, obviously with this fight, Jessica Andrade, I kind of refer to her as like a little human buzzsaw. She's just always going forward, always throwing heavy punches. You've fought a lot of different kind of fighters in your career. Is this a fun stylistic matchup just because she is so aggressive and she is so, moving forward all the time? Obviously that opens up opportunities. I know you're a very good counter striker. Do you like that kind of matchup?
I wouldn't say that I love the matchup, but I think I'm very good at this type of matchup. I mean, I train in New Jersey and a lot of my training partners are super short wrestlers. So I'm used to that. I'm tall. So even before MMA, I did a lot of boxing. I competed in the Golden Gloves and boxing. If you're an inch taller than someone, they're like, you need to use your range. Range is so important. So I kind of grew up learning that. And, because I'm so long, I think that's kind of been something that all my coaches kind of want me to use and learn. So this is the best style matchup for me. I can, if I'm on point, stay focused and use my distance and what I'm good at, then this is a really nice matchup for me.
Thank you, Katlyn.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next up we have Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press.
Yeah.
Hey, Katlyn, what are you expecting to be different about Jessica at flyweight compared to what we've been used to seeing from her at strawweight?
I think at strawweight, she's able to bully people around a lot. She's shorter, but she's definitely, stocky and muscular and aggressive. And I think when she, is the bigger fighter, she's able to use her aggression to her advantage. She's fought at bantamweight before and didn't have as much success there, I think, because she wasn't able to bully people around. And even at the flyweight, the girls she seemed to have trouble with were, definitely longer and taller. So, I think that for this fight, I think my size advantage is going to play a factor.
I think a lot of people, after you beat Antonina, they thought they might pair you up with Cynthia Calvillo. I know after you tweeted after her fight, that got a lot of traction, or maybe a rematch with Lauren Murphy. So what was your reaction to being offered Jessica Andrade?
Well, first I thought I was getting the Cynthia fight or Lauren Murphy, and I was told probably one of them. And then all of a sudden they got booked. And I was like, okay, like, what about me? You guys forgot about me over here. So then I was just like, all right, well, I just want to get a fight. I was asking all the time, and, everyone seemed to be matched up already. So I was like, well, I'm not going to fight for a while because everyone's matched up, and then you got to wait for them to want to fight again. So I was kind of getting concerned. And then I think Andrade was supposed to be matched up with Jessica I think. And so she had to pull out, and then that's why I got it. So I feel like I'm only getting fights if girls back out, but I'm staying ready and I want to take them. So when I heard Andrade, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even think about her because I didn't know she was really moving up to flyweight. So I was definitely excited. I think that, bringing a former champ in a different division into our division definitely makes it exciting, which I think the flyweight division needs. And, yeah, I just think it's kind of like a little super fight in the division. So it all worked out.
My final question, who do you think wins next week between Cynthia and Lauren?
I feel like they're pretty similar, but maybe Cynthia. I think that she's a little bit more well-rounded and scrappier. So yeah, I'll probably give that one to Cynthia.
Thanks, Katlyn. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, and we will wrap things up with Jenna Ben Ami at Dash Radio.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Being the #1 contender in your division and striving for another shot at the title, how have you been managing the pressure of protecting your position?
Honestly, now I feel like since I've already fought for the title, there is no pressure. I mean, I just know that I've been in this position before where, I'm want the shot at the title, and the only way you get there is by winning. So I kind of, through my experience, just realized you really have to focus on one fight at a time. You can't be too scared. You can't worry about, you have to want to win the fight. You can't worry about losing the fight to lose your title shot. So I think the experience from going, up the rankings, fighting for the title, now coming down and having to rebuild, I think that experience has helped me to just kind of focus on each fight and not have pressure on me. And, if I perform well and do good and keep winning, then that shot will come again, because that's what happened. That's how the title shot happened before.
I love it. Very positive. So what's your game plan if you don't win this fight against Jessica?
I mean, I haven't even, I see as myself winning the fight.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katlyn. That is all we have for you today. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.